sign? Oh, she got the sign over there. Hold it up. Um, are we ready, Ms. Dolly? Is everyone ready? Good morning. I'm Attorney Ben CRUMP, along with Attorney Bryce Timmons and Judge Ernestine Doyce and Attorney Brooke Cluse. We have the honor of representing the family of Mr. RAMON McGHEE. Present here with us is his mother, Lisa Shahan Choke, as well as his father, Mr. Lawrence McGHEE, his aunt, Miss Vervita McGHEE Steiger, and a host of other uncles and aunts and family members who loved and adored RAMON. We are here yet again dealing with what we believe to be an unnecessary and an unjustifiable death at 201 Poplar. How many more of these unnecessary tragedies are we going to have to endure? We wanted to come before you for three reasons. First and foremost, to let his family tell you about who he was and how devastated they are that RAMON McGHEE died in such an outrageous manner, a horrific manner, just unbelievable manner. His family is going to address you, and that's the most important reason why we're here today. The second reason is that we had a preliminary autopsy performed independently by the family. It was paid for by Colin Kaepernick's Autopsy Initiative, which he has done in many cases. The one that's most similar in this matter is the tragic death of LaShawn Thompson, who we represented in Atlanta, Georgia, who died in the Fulton County detention facility. Very, very similar to what happened here in Memphis, Tennessee, in the Shelby County detention facility. And then finally, to address the announcement by the Sheriff's Office on yesterday, the fact that as Kareem and Judge Doyce and Cassio and us all discussed, is a step in the right direction. But we want to make sure that there's full justice, not just something to try to calm everybody down. No, we won't calm down until we get full justice for RAMON McGHEE. Nothing less. Because this tragedy warrants it. So, to talk about the preliminary autopsy report that was done by Dr. Akol, and he issued this report after having the body over the weekend, and he painstakingly goes through everything of what he found at autopsy, and it's very emotional. And so I will try to get through this, understanding that it is emotional for his family, especially his mother and father, but it's necessary that we try to let people know what happened to Ramon. You're going to hear from them that Ramon was diagnosed bipolar schizophrenia, and the fact that he required medication to function properly. The autopsy goes into great detail about how they found his body, and I will show you some photographs momentarily, but some of the factors that were the proximate causes of his death was severe malnutrition, starvation, ramus, extensive and severe body insect infestation. And they go into detail all the places at second autopsy. At the second autopsy, where they still found lice and bed bugs found on him or bites from them. And they found them in his head, in his hair, his face, his nose, his mouth, his chest, his public areas, front and back, his arms, his legs. Multiple insect stages identified even in the body bag. So, in conclusion, like the medical records suggested that Kareem and Attorney Cluse and I discussed, they found insect infestation when he was brought to the hospital, but they also put in their record adult abandonment, adult abuse is what they found at Methodist University Hospital. They found that his stomach was virtually empty. They found at autopsy that a major factor of his death was starvation. In view of the clinical history and the findings at the second autopsy, the cause of death in this black male, Ramon Prestis McGHEE, is severe neglect with malnutrition, severe dehydration, severe body insect infestation, and complications from such illnesses. The manner of death is homicide. The manner of death is homicide. So, these are hard to exhibit. And what you see here is a photograph taken by his aunt at the hospital, at Methodist Hospital. And this is after he has been cleaned. You still see all the lice all around his head, in his ears. And this is a photograph that she took. We haven't seen the photographs that they took in the jail cell. Attorney Timmons and Judge Dorsey and I will be calling for full transparency to see all of those photographs when the hospital came and got him, were there photographs taken because he was found unresponsive in his jail cell. And so that is an example of the extreme adult abuse, the the neglect. We believe we're going to find, as we continue our investigation, that he was not receiving his medication. That was very similar to LaShawn Thompson in Fulton County Jail, because people often ask, well, how could you just have lice and bed bugs biting you and you don't do anything? Well, what we learned from that case, when you have bipolar schizophrenia illnesses and you don't get your medication, then your brain starts shutting down. It quits sending messages to your body. And so even though you're being bitten by insects and bed bugs and lice, there is no messaging from your brain to your other parts of your body to respond. And that's why it is so critical that we look at our brothers and sisters who have mental health issues as people that are worthy of the same respect and dignity as anybody else. It shouldn't matter the status of your mental health and the color of your skin, whether you get afforded quality health care when you're in the custody and care of any law enforcement entity. And And I know this is very, very difficult. We'll get through this, and then we will hopefully put these photographs away. They talked about, even though we didn't get the jail cell photographs, this is at the hospital. Now, he's unconscious, but you see the lice and the bed bugs and so forth in and around his toes as well, while he's shackled to the bedpost. And this is a very hard picture because he went, as his family was told, unconscious to the hospital, but yet he was in shackles. So they are trying to process many things. They are begging the question, where's the humanity? Where's the humanity? Is that it? And so those are just the photographs that his aunt took. We believe there are other photographs that exist, and we would hope that they would be released to the public for the sake of transparency, and also for the fact that it could be a teachable moment. And now the third thing that we thought was very important to respond to, and that was Sheriff Bonner's press release, where he did take steps towards justice. And when people do the right thing, I know at times our office have filed complaints of things that we thought were inappropriate and not right against the Sheriff's Department. So we want to be the first to say, when you start taking steps to get towards justice, then we acknowledge that. But we won't quit this fight until we get full justice. This is just a first step towards getting justice. We want full criminal culpability and civil accountability for Ramon McGHEE. The Shelby County Sheriff's Office has been conducting an extensive investigation into concerning incidents at the main jail for several months. The Sheriff's Office, along with other law enforcement agencies, has initiated criminal investigations as per the sheriff's request. Charges have been filed by both the sheriff's office and the district attorney's office with ongoing internal investigations into non-criminal matters. It is imperative for the community to understand that the death of RAMON McGHEE was completely unacceptable. I think we all agree with the Sheriff Bonner. His death was completely unacceptable. Immediate action was taken by alerting the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and the District Attorney's Office upon his hospital transfer. Unfortunately, directions concerning his cell cleaning and personal hygiene were disregarded, and crucial information was withheld. Those within the sheriff's office who neglected their responsibilities regarding this tragic incident are not reflective of our values. This behavior is intolerable, and we are fully dedicated to preventing such tragedies from happening in the future. Efforts are underway to restructure the security operations team with recent retirements of the assistant chief and chief inspector in that division. Significant changes have been made in various departments by reassigning staff and responsibilities. We trust that these adjustments, along with others in the pipeline, will work towards rebuilding public confidence in our agency. And there has to be a lot of work done to rebuild public confidence in the Sheriff's Department here in Shelby County because of the multiple unnecessary, unjustifiable deaths that have happened while citizens were in the care and custody of the Sheriff's Department. So we say to Sheriff Bonner, we say to the Shelby County Sheriff's Department, we want full justice for Rashawn McGHEE. Justice for Rashawn McGHEE. Justice for RAMON 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 McGHEE. Nothing short of full justice. This is a start. These medical records and these photographs tell the story. They tell the story. And that's why his broken-hearted parents and family are so devastated. You're about to hear from them about how they were trying to get to their son. They knew about his mental health illness, and they tried continuously to get anybody in the jail to respond to them. So the people who knew him best are going to talk to you about who RAMON McGHEE was, and it's even hard to say that because he shouldn't be gone. He should still be living today. And how devastated they are about his tragic death and how they found out news about what was happening to their son. You're going to hear from his mother, Lisa, first, and then we will introduce you to his aunt, Vervita. Miss Lisa, as best you can, tell them about your son, who you are.
Excuse me. It's just, I'm RAMON McGHEE's mother. I never thought I was be here talking about my son and the conditions that he went through. All I can remember him is as a little baby. When he was born, when he was growing up, he loved to play basketball. He loved to draw. He loved to make lyrics, and he was so creative. If you would have known Ramon. You would have really enjoyed being around him because he would have did anything for you. But with his mental illness, it just took control. He was a prisoner of his mental illness. And I know people try to picture my son as a bad person.
Take your time.
But he wasn't. His mind just took control of him because he needed help. And as always, they said there's always consequences behind an action. Well, that's why he was in there. But it doesn't mean that someone else had to take judgment upon themselves and hurt my son the way he did.
Not right.
You know, my son, he did. When I went to the hospital, they told me that he was full of bed bugs and insects. And I said, no, my son is a clean person. He don't like being dirty, you know. And they said that's the way they brought him in. And I know it's true because when we had a video chat with him, he said they had cut all his hair off. And I was like, why you shaved your hair? He said, I had no choice because it was full of lice. I said, well, did they clean it? They said, well, no, they just cut my hair. And he said, you know. So I said, well, they told me, you know, they need to clean it still because it's going to happen again. I guess when people is locked up, and this just not for my son, but just anybody, they just don't care. They just look at them as criminals with no rights. But I think everybody should have rights. They're in there for a purpose, and they're serving their time, but it shouldn't be upon anybody else to inflict more additional pain on anyone. You know, there's so much I can say about him, but I'm just so torn up about the situation.
There's no reason your son should have been taken from this earth in this manner. And we will continue to fight with you and your family to get justice for Ramon McGHEE. And keep his name alive, and hopefully this will be a teachable moment, not just for Shelby County, but for all of America. Hopefully we can have better policy, better laws of how we treat the mentally ill.
Yeah, it's really sad. I couldn't understand when I first heard he was starved, and I was sending him food from eye care gifts that they sent to the prisons. And I was sending to him like 3 times a week, so I couldn't understand how he was starving if I was sending him meals. And so it's just telling me that he wasn't giving him his food or his medication.
And can you tell about how your efforts to communicate with them and what they would tell you?
We tried, me and my daughter and his father, he would go up there and visit him. Me and my daughter, we tried 3 months to video chat with him because I live out of state. And they always gave us some type of excuses. We even had one lady that said she would check up on him. I'm not going to mention her name, but she said, oh, he was okay. But he wasn't okay. 3 months we tried, and they always said, you know, they on lockdown, or he's in solitaire, or something else is going on. And then after, they just stopped answering our calls. And last time I heard is when I got a call. He was in a hospital, and it was devastating to see him like on life support. And then we had officers just constantly looking in on us. I wasn't even comfortable being in the room with my son because they was constantly monitoring me and my daughter, like we was gonna do something to him. They had him in shackles. It was just filthy. Just didn't look like my son.
Thank you, Ms. Lisa. Justice for Ramon McGHEE.
Justice for Ramon McGHEE.
Justice for Ramon McGHEE.
Justice for Ramon McGHEE.
It defies all kind of logic. If she was sending him food, why causes of death would be starvation, sending him food 3 times a week. The fact that at autopsy, they said he weighed approximately 115 pounds, which is much lighter than his family knew his weight to be. And the fact that we got to do better by our loved ones who got mental health issues. It is inhumane to deny a person with mental health issues their medication so their body can function. You heard what his mother said. It was like he was a prisoner of his mind, and he just needed help. He just needed his medicine. That's what he needed. That's what he needed. And so to really articulate what she saw, she took pictures at the jail that we shared with you, is his aunt, Vervita. Take your time.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vervita McGHEE Steiger. I am Ramon's aunt. Ramon loved to draw. He was an artist. He was a poet. He also loved writing songs. Even with his mental sickness, he was a productive young man, often holding down 2 jobs. He was a quiet young man, never been in jail, never had or been in any kind of trouble. My nephew, Ramon, was not some kind of monster. He had a mental sickness. The crime he allegedly committed, and I say allegedly, because I only know what was told to me and what I read, the same as you all. Nobody really knows but the Almighty God what really happened that night. We were told he would be safe at 201 Poplar on the 2nd floor, known as 2K. Ramon died of total neglect at the hands of the prison staff. I got a call from my niece. He was at Methodist University on life support. When I saw him in the emergency room and lifted the covers, his body was in a total deplorable condition. Never seen nothing like it before in my life. And I pray to God I never see it again with nobody. All I could say was, oh my God. Ramon was a healthy young man. I was in total shock, and I'm still in shock. One of the ER nurses told my brother and I that Ramon was filthy. And they had to clean him up as best as they could before they could even treat him. That's deplorable within itself. She said he was infested with bed bugs and lice. They even shaved his head because of the infestation. Why? Is it that the sheriff, the lieutenant, and the sergeant has no idea what goes on in their facility? Do they not do checks, meaning walk the floors, Check inside the cells that have big metal doors for mental detainees. Do they not check? Apparently not. Help me understand. Help our family and other families understand how something like this could happen. This is not the first time this has happened, but I pray to God this is the last time this happens to anyone at 201 Poplar. This neglect was going on from September until somebody decided to go and check on Ramon January the 10th, when he was found unresponsive and taken to Methodist University emergency room. We were told that the whole jail was on lockdown. Now I know that was a blatant lie. The jail wasn't on lockdown. Why couldn't they call and talk to the family or his attorney? Why? Shelby County Sheriff's Office say, and I quote from what Mr. CRUMP just read, it is imperative for the community to understand that the death of Ramon McGHEE was completely unacceptable. Actions should have been taken before having to bring the TBI and the district attorney's office in. I have been to animal shelters, and don't get me wrong, I love my dogs. I love my dogs. I've been to animal shelters, and the dogs don't sleep in their urine and feces. They're fed very well. So is human life less than a dog's life? As far as the community having confidence and or trust concerning 201 Poplar, there is none. Because the same thing keeps going on and nothing changes. Our family wants justice. The house needs to be cleaned from the top to the very bottom.
Justice for Ramon.
Justice for Ramon. Justice for Ramon. Justice for Ramon. Justice for Ramon. Justice for Ramon.
No justice!
No case.
Thank you so much. His aunt. Y'all make sure you got it. Yes, sir, you got it. Judge Doss, would you like to say a few words before we take questions? Thank you, correct.
Good afternoon. Here we are again with sentences before there's been any true arbitration. They have been found and sentenced to death without a trial, without a jury, without anybody actually listening to the words, but yet the bottom line is that you're less likely, in often cases, not to be heard because you will not be able to get that opportunity. We need to make sure as citizens that we require people with authority and responsibility to do what it is that they are charged to do and be responsible in the end for their failure. And we cannot keep coming here month after month, year after year, with nothing having been done. No changes have been made. I mean, it's been years ago since that jail was under the federal guidelines. when they had inmates sleeping on the gym floor. I've been a judge over 30 years, and I was a public defender when they were there sleeping on the gym floor, and the feds had to come in. And they were under such horrible conditions then, and we have not seen much change. And a poor wind is the one that doesn't change. The poor wind is what doesn't change, and we allow the stagnant wind. We may want peace to be still, but we want peace and we want justice and we want fundamental fairness and humanity for whomever it is. Humanity is what's paramount and missing in Shelby County jails. Humanity is missing and people failing to do their jobs. Failure to do your jobs. And don't tell me you don't have enough employees. Get what you need to get your job. You get the budget, don't you? Just think about it. We have requirements as citizens to expect more, and more must happen.
Justice for Ramon.
Justice for Ramon. Justice for Ramon.
His mother wants to say one thing before we get to your questions.
I just want to thank you guys for being here and my family, for great support. Only thing that keeps me going is that I believe and I have the faith that I will see him again. And I do believe I will see him again because only God can reach your heart and he sees what's going on. You cannot hide in the dark from him because he brings it to the light. They try to say my son is a criminal, but who's the real criminal here? To let someone who's in authority, who wears a badge, who wears a uniform, and to hide behind it, to put this type of treatment on anyone, not just my son, just anyone in general. No one should have to go through that. No one should have to suffer at the hands of someone else. No one made them God. No one made them judge and jury.
Amen.
So I'm just saying that whatever happens, my hope is and my comfort is knowing that I will see him again. That's what I look forward to, seeing my son again.
Thank you. And Dr. Okoye answered a lot of questions for the family with the independent autopsy. And I guess the last thing is what his aunt said, and I want to make sure that you all are aware of it. His family shared with me that this was his very first time in jail. They never thought he would leave jail unresponsive and leave the hospital in a body bag. Never, ever thought that. And so here we are, yet again, fighting for justice. Too many names, too many broken-hearted mothers and fathers, children. We must do better. We will take your questions if you have any. Yes, sir. I'm good, sir. Attorney Bryce Timmons is looking into those matters, and so we will continue to dig to find out who are the people who they have held responsible, and then are there others that need to also be held responsible? Yes, sir. Not at this time. That would be a question for Sheriff Bonner. Not at this time. That would be a question for District Attorney Steve Morrow and Sheriff Bonner. Yes, ma'am. No, it was an autopsy conducted by the, I guess, county medical examiner, and Tennessee Forensic Center, and then the body was returned to the family, and the family had an independent autopsy performed by Dr. Okoye. And that autopsy was performed as part of the Autopsy Initiative that Colin Kaepernick and the Know Your Rights Foundation does on behalf of families in need. Are they? All right. We don't know what the first autopsy says, but what we do know, based on the preliminary findings of Dr. Okoye, is the fact that his autopsy is consistent with very objective evidence. And we believe, based on the sheriff's actions, that the government medical examiner will conclude similar findings. And we can only surmise why they felt the need to bring charges, because I want to believe Attorney Cluse and us will be looking at all the policies, but I'm sure they were supposed to do daily routines, some kind of routines where they were monitoring and checking him, where they were giving him his medication, where they were giving him the food that they supposed to give all inmates. For God's sake, his mother was paying for 3 meals a week to come to him, so there's no reason he should die from starvation.
That's right.
No reason whatsoever. God help them if they were taking the food that she sent and throwing it away or doing God knows what with it. I know his uncles had some theories. We don't know what they were doing with the food, but we know his mother was sending food. We know his father was trying to visit him constantly. We know his mother was trying to do video chats with him. And for 3 months, they said they were stonewalled. They would come and they would be giving excuses. The jail is on lockdown. He's in solitary. And then, as Miss Lisa and Mr. Lawrence and them said, then they just stopped saying anything. Wouldn't offer any reason why they couldn't talk to their child. And his mother, father, they just wanted to know, how's he doing? Is he getting his medicine? You know, y'all understand he has a mental health condition. Are y'all making sure y'all taking care of our son while he's in your custody? But yet, they couldn't even get the common decency to know what was going on with their son until they found out that he was taken to the hospital unconscious. Is that what they told you all? And that was when they finally got wind of what condition their son was in. And then his aunt, you know, she said when she pulled back those covers, and saw something that she said was totally deplorable. I mean, lice everywhere. Even after they tried to clean him up, he still had lice all in his ears and stuff from the photographs that she was able to take. We can only imagine how bad it was before they attempted to clean him up. I mean, you think about LaShawn Thompson, at least they got some pictures of him in the jail. I want to believe that they have photographs. We got to fight for transparency and say we need, as a community, to see the pictures so we know what's going on at the county jail. Because if we don't do something now, Ramon won't be the last. Yeah. Any last questions? Yes.
The last month I talked to my son was in September, because I remember that month well, because I was going on a cruise that month, and I was talking to my son because, you know, I was trying to lift him up, tell him one of these days we're going to go together. And so my daughter, she talked to him. Her name is Laura, and she talked to my son, and it was in September. And so when she tried to make another visit with him, because his visit days are on Thursdays. And she could not get in, so she called the jail, and they gave her some excuses. So when I returned, I tried to schedule a visit, because we do video chat every Thursday. It's his date. And every time they gave us excuses why, he wasn't able. And we even had one individual that she said she would go check on him. And then she told us that he was okay. But she lied to us. And after that, they gave us all excuses to the point where they just didn't answer our calls no more. And we never heard anything until.
Mr. Lawrence McGHEE, his father said that he went in November of 2022. 2022, so over a year, I believe.
I'm in jail?
Yeah.
About a year and a half. Yes, correct. That's correct. That was in January, Texas.
And his father was trying to visit him on a daily basis and was being denied. His father lives here in Memphis. His mother lives in Texas.
No, this was it. He told me that when we talked to him, it was either at the end of August or around probably the first week of September, I believe, when I noticed that his hair was cut. And I said, wow, because he had long hair, and I was like, wow, you look different. You got your hair cut. And he said, I had no choice. I had lice all in my head. And I kept trying to tell him, and he said, but they eventually had to cut my hair. I said, oh, wow. So that was the last time I talked to him.
And this is very emotional, and the family felt it necessary. His aunt nearly passed out after her emotional statements. And so please continue to pray for this family as they get ready for the homegoing services of their son that no parent wants to have to do. It goes against the natural order of things. We will keep you informed, and please ask questions to the officials about the deputies who have been charged and what they've been charged for to both the sheriff and the district attorney's office. Yes, sir. Well, we got to keep pressing it because the truth must come out. Well, we got to get ready for a homegoing service, regrettably. So we will keep you. The family is waiting to receive his body back from the independent medical examiner, and then his mother and father will make those very difficult decisions, and we'll let you all know. Thank you. God bless you. Justice for Ramon. 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 Justice